horror stories and animated horror shorts, be sure to like and subscribe.
My wife and I were celebrating 5 years of married bliss. After quite a few discussions about how to celebrate and treat ourselves, we settled on a cozy bed and breakfast 2 towns over. The day we checked in was the day I should have turned the car around. I should have said, honey, the mountain spa sounds way better. But I didn't. The building was way older, which originally was why it charmed us in the first place. But as we walked through the front doors, you could feel it. The air was heavy, and the place just had a terribly bad energy about it. I shrugged it off as being in an unfamiliar place and chose not to mention it to my wife. We checked into our room and headed up the stairs to the first door on the left. My wife's face was beaming. She had always wanted to try a bed and breakfast. I smirked to myself over her joy. Once in our room, with our suitcases on top of the bed, my wife turned to me. So, this is going to sound a little crazy. My eyebrow arched and my interest was piqued. Okay. Did you get a weird feeling downstairs like you were being watched? I contemplated on how to respond. I definitely felt something odd, but I had not felt like I was being watched. We just had a long drive. Maybe your mind was just wandering a bit. Why don't I run you a bath? I could see that my answer frustrated her, but I didn't believe in ghosts. Silent defeat fell over her face and she nodded. Yes, maybe that will help. After her bath, we had dinner at a nearby restaurant. It had come highly recommended by the owner, and I have to say I was pleasantly surprised. The food was very good. Do you mind if we go for a walk and see the town? My wife asked after dinner. No, that sounds great. We walked around 3 blocks, taking photos along the way. Then we walked back to the bed and breakfast, and we took some photos out in front as well. We should probably get ourselves to bed, I reminded. We have a few things planned around 7 tomorrow. Oh yes, I almost forgot. While we made our way to our room, this time I did not notice a heavy feeling. Everything seemed as it should be. I must have been tired from the drive as well. Who knows? At 2:45 a.m., I awoke to the covers being ripped off of me and something attempting to jerk me off of the bed by my ankle. I could make out a black, shadowy figure, and that was all. Terrified, thinking someone broke into our room, I quickly shook myself free and turned the light on, only to see the shadow instantly disappear. Nothing was in our room. All the while, my wife was sleeping soundly next to me, only half of the covers on her. I swear she could sleep through an earthquake. I did not go back to sleep that night. I turned the light back off and sat on the sofa, watching TV. Every little noise perked my ears. By 7 o'clock, I was delirious. I made an excuse to my wife as if I was coming down with a stomach bug. I asked if we could cancel and do the activities later in the day. I could tell she was bummed, but she agreed. Finally, I got some rest. Nothing tried jerking me off of the bed, and the air was as it should be. I slept for about 3 hours or so. Just as I was waking up, my wife put the digital camera in my face. Hey, what are you doing? I snipped. Just look. Her face was all concern. I sighed. I had only been awake about a minute. I hastily grabbed the camera from her and started flipping through the photos. Specifically, the ones out in front of the bed and breakfast, she directed. I shot her a look of annoyance and flipped faster through the photos. When I got to the picture she was referring to, my blood ran cold. I blinked my eyes to make sure I was viewing this correctly. So, what exactly do you think you saw in these? I asked, lifting my head to face her. Exactly what you think you are seeing right now. I turned my attention back to the camera, amazed and terrified at the same time. I did not believe in ghosts, but this place was haunted. The figure I had seen in our room trying to pull me off of the bed, he was in every one of our photos. The photos in front of the bed and breakfast were the creepiest. In the others, he was far away, barely seen in the shots. But the closer we walked and snapped, the closer he was in every shot. Then, when we photographed the bed and breakfast, he was literally so close behind us that we should have felt his breath on our necks. The last photo looked as if his distorted hand was around my wife's throat. He didn't have a face. He was all black, a black shadow. but you could tell by how his black shadow hand wisped over the front of her neck that he was sinister. Needless to say, we did not finish our stay there. One and done. And we do not go to bed and breakfast for any reason. It was an anniversary neither of us will forget.
Submit your own story on Reddit at Chilled Bones Writes. And thanks for watching our scary stories.